It seems the developers at Marvel Strike Force have heard we like PvE content, and this blog has given us a fair chunk of it. And if you want to know all about that and how we are going to AC events this week, free to play, and what you might need to hoard over the weekend, then join me in this video. What's going on, everyone? I'm BPG and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I make at least 2 Marvel Strike Force videos every single week, usually based around the events within the game. However, sometimes I do get time to add additional videos in as well. So if you find the content in this video helpful, please do consider giving the video a like, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss another BPG upload. And without further ado, let's get into this, shall we? Alright, so in the news this week, we have some free codes. Let's start off with that. And so the first code we have, if you haven't already claimed it, is Envoy Holidays. Yeah, that's right. Scopely will be going for some holidays. They'll be in a daze for a bit, probably about 2 months. But this is your first code. If you go to the player free claim on the website, which I will leave a link to in the description down below, and enter this, you will get some training materials and some power cores. And the second free gift we got was a code of winter gift. And this here gave us some more power cores, some more purple training materials, and 3 million gold. So a very nice code. And we had the patch notes for patch 8.5. We'll go and take a quick look at those. So this was the latest patch, and with this we had a absolute ton of data mines, but we'll go over those in a minute. The patch 8.5 release notes. New in this release, they've added 22 new alliance icons. Woohoo! That's just cosmetic. Bug fixes. Noel's basic was repeating its animation and several of his sound effects were not working correctly. Noel now acts and sounds like a boss. Wow, we're not going to get to see that for a few months, I'm sure. Fixed several instances of combat mods not working as intended in Battle World missions. Again, don't think we're going to see that for a little while. And these bugs could come back when they rebring Battle World back into it. Remove the unintended count as raid tag in the Zone 3 Herald mission. Okay. Navigating to Battle World from certain game screens and instances caused a black screen to appear instead of the Battle World screen stroke map. Well, that is still happening, I can tell you that much, even after the bug fix. The Battle World continent map would sometimes not update after putting the app into the background and then returning. Yeah, I've had people who have had that happen before. Hopefully that is fixed. Can't report on that. We did get some new UI come into the game. I don't know if anyone's noticed that, but a new like wintry UI came into the background with this patch, and also a new semi UI to the options menu. Again, probably no one has really noticed that. And next up this week, we had the Shadow King trial payouts come. So because they couldn't make the trial leaderboard or the trials hard enough to split the leaderboard well enough, there were 6,003 people who managed to, or players who managed to do a max difficulty, so difficulty 15 with all packs attached, and each and every single one of those players was given a 7 yellow star Shadow King. Now I know that isn't a great deal, you know, the 7-star Shadow King so much, because he is a mainly Battle World character. The people telling you that they are a great war team, they might be, but today I took them into Alliance War on offense and they got hammered by Night Stalkers, which you wouldn't think a war team should get hammered by a raid team, even though I know said raid team do have bonuses at the moment in Alliance War. But Again, this is a brand new legendary character Alliance War team, and they got their butt handed to by Night Stalkers. And that wasn't all with the Shadow King. So coming into this, Pathfinder posted on the Discord server, Commanders, we have heard the feedback regarding the leaderboard for the Shadow King trials, specifically the time spent for players who achieved a top 500 score. To address this, we will be sending the following to those players: 500k snow globes and 2 best of 2024 orbs. Now, while this is a really nice gesture, I personally think it is a bit of a slap in the face to the players who spent the time trying to get into the top 500. That 500k snow globes, that is going to buy you roughly 50 astral force energy or force milestone points for the Shadow King red stars, and the 2 best of 2024 orbs. To be honest, the guys in that top 500 are most likely to have a lot of those characters in that best of 2024 orb already with the diamonds on them. So I don't overly think that is a very good gesture from them. It is a gesture nonetheless, but I think those players who were in the top 500, honestly, in my opinion, do deserve a little bit more for their time. And as I said, with patch 8.5 came a huge datamine dump. We'll go take a quick look at everything that came out in the datamines. Now, massive thank you to Boylon for all the work he does with the datamines, and how quickly he does the work with the datamines. We have Winter's Peak, which is a new tower mode that is coming. The Winter's Peak event, 10 new challenging floors. So this is a tower coming. This hasn't come this week, so far as I know. It's certainly not in the blog that it's coming. Then we have all the Battle Pass announcements. So we've got Battle Pass Season 37, which is going to earn the Orcish Shards and Dark Promotion credits. Season 38 will be earning Emma Frost X-Men Shards and Dark Promo credits. We had confirmation of Jean Grey coming to the game, Hercules coming to the game, with also some ID Shard MODOK name, the Watcher name, and Living Tribunal name. Now, I think these guys here are just going to be non-playable characters or NPCs. And purely because generally when we get a playable character, they come with this little like gump here that says, you know, for example, Jean Grey, an original member of the X-Men with an unparalleled telepathic and telekinetic abilities. Jean Grey is a formidable ally with the power to protect her allies and disrupt her enemies. We then have the confirmation that level 105 and gear tier 20 is coming to the game. This is in the hero assets files. Now, these only get updated to gear tier 20 sort of when those, or certainly Xavier as well, only gets updated when they're actually going to be coming to the game. So if you want a quick look at that, so here we have the codes for Xavier with his gear tiers all the way up to 20, level slot 105. We've got the next strike passes in the data mines with Man Thing coming for season 75, an ancient one coming for season 76. And we also have the coming soon 2 Turtle Doves event. So this is not next week's event, but the week after's event. Commander, 2 Turtle Doves milestone. Gain progress in this 7-day event by spending Forceful Energy. So that is the absolute A-Force energy. Getting the best of 2024 orbs. Okay, so that might be a start saving your snow globes. And advancing through Sword Tower. Earn exciting rewards, including Kahori Shards. So this is going to be Kahori's free-to-play event, I'm guessing. Mystic Gear and holiday costumes. You'll also earn points towards the month-long Ice Queen's Gala milestone by collecting the Turtle Doves and the Snow Globes. Good luck. And other news, on Monday, the 16th, The Old Man Logan Trials returns. That is right. If you have not yet unlocked this character, or if you have not yet got him up to 7 stars, this weekend is the weekend to prepare and get yourself ready. And you will need him this week for this week's event. Oath is the new battle pass that will be coming on Monday as well. So free to play, we should get on 40 shards of Oath. That'll be quite nice. There is a new poll coming, and it is for the Hellfire Club. Let's take a look at who we are looking for in the poll. Now, this poll is going to be going live on December the 18th. So keep your eyes out on the web for that one. And so here we have the characters who we are going to be voting for. We have Celine, we have Sauron, and we have Azrael, is it? I can never pronounce his name properly. I would be happy to see any one of these 3 characters in Marvel Strike Force. I will probably be voting for Sauron, just because who doesn't want a great big prehistoric dinosaur, although Azrael would be really, really good as well. And coming on Friday, the 20th of December, we will have Medusa's initial release. So the final member of the Absolute A-Force will have their initial release on Friday. So don't forget, pull those red star orbs for that 25% chance to get her decent red stars. And if you are going to call for her, this would be the time when you can use your power cores to call for Medusa. Okay, so we've got 2 more events happening next week that are in the blog that aren't the usual weekly events. So we have a Grootmas surprise. Get your unwrapping tools ready, because Groot has a galaxy-sized surprise for everyone this holiday season. Actually has 4 surprises, so a galaxy cluster-sized surprise, and you definitely don't want to miss out on each initial scan. Initial scans are reporting some of the biggest gifts we've seen. We will wait and see on that, Scopely. Tell you that much. The search for presents, 3 weeks and 4 big gifts. Groot, that Power and Rascal has hidden gifts across S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, and we need your help finding them. Join the search by completing the daily Grootmas surprise milestones to uncover the wrapping paper covered secrets. Log in and spend 10 What If Winterland energy. So this is the energy for this 3-week campaign, I believe. It's going to have additional stories going on through the week with Kahori and Captain Carter. You only need to spend 10 energy per day to complete the milestone. That will earn you fragments towards a special orb that you'll open towards the end of each week's search. Here are the minimum number of milestones you will need to complete and earn fragments in order to unwrap the weekly gift. Week 1, you're going to need to do this for 4 days. Week 2, you're going to need to do this for 5 days. And week 3, you're going to need to do this for 6 days. Try not to miss too many days. Groot may have left something special to our most dedicated commanders. Completing either of the first 2 weeks and the final week will guarantee you get to open an extra gift after Grootmas. Now, one thing I would say here, and call me skeptical, but for any of us that aren't already hooked on this game and aren't already, logging in daily, sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a day, 6, 7 times a day sometimes, if you're really, really on it. This feels like a way of trying to get people to get into that habit of logging in. Just doing that daily logging, trying to get people back into logging in daily rather than, not logging in for a week. They're trying to get people back into getting those habits formed. Let me know if I'm completely crazy down in the comments below thinking that, but that is certainly my thoughts on this event. The next event we have is Temporal Cataclysm. This is going to go live on December the 19th, so that is Thursday next week. And this is basically a scourge for end game players. Why do I say end game players? Because you are going to need gear tier 18 and gear tier 19 characters to be able to do this scourge. There are 12 difficulties. There are going to be packs that you can put on as well. But you're basically going to be needing to take your best characters. This is going to be an absolute theory crafter's dream, hopefully. Boylon has done a list of the enemies, I believe, on each of the nodes. So I will leave a link to his video down below. I'm really looking forward to some more PvE content, but I am, again, thinking about screen time that people are spending on this game. And with that, that brings us to the Ice Queen's Gala. And how are we doing at the end of, or near the end of week 2? So currently I am sat at 1.1 million points on milestone nearly 23. That's not too bad for 2 weeks, I don't think. Halfway through pretty much, and still 2 weeks left to go. And this week I haven't actually spent or bought many snow globes at all. I've completely not bothered with the web milestone this week, and I was right in doing so because they ended up in that Winter Wonderland event, the Captain Carter and Kahori event that they've put on. They put the awakened abilities for Emma Frost, for Ancient One, and for Doctor Strange and Moondragon all in that event themselves. So yeah, I know this has made people, you know, some people quite angry about this. I think it's actually a good thing. It's putting everyone on a level pegging, and the real winners of this are going to be the people who have spent money on the Shadow King abilities, and those ones are the ones that they haven't given away as yet. Why don't you let me know down in the comments below how you're doing in the Ice Queen's Gala so far. And for week 3 of the Ice Queen's Gala, we have 3 French hens. This is going to kick off on Monday the 16th of December 2024 at 1 PM PST, or if you're like me in good old Blighty, 9 PM GMT. 7-day event, so it's going to finish on Monday the 23rd of December. We've got week 3 of Season of Giving. This is running at exactly the same time as 3 French hens, and unfortunately, looking at it this week, this is not going to be skippable this week. Absolute Assault will be coming back for the 3rd week to assault us. The Alliance event, it is a 6-day Alliance event starting on Monday the 16th again, and finishing on Sunday the 22nd of December. And the Quick Rumble next week will be called Side Gig. It's going to start on Friday the 20th of December at 1 PM PST or 9 PM GMT if you're like me in the UK. And you're going to earn extra points next week for using your Secret Defenders, a relatively new team, a good team as well. So hopefully someone you have stars on at least to be able to make this a quick rumble for you. And Season of Giving 3, we're going to take a quick look at that. We have the table here. We need to spend 600,000 snow globes again for the 3 French hens milestone points and the Ice Queen Gala milestone points. There is also some gold attached and some gold orb fragments. Now, hopefully, a bit like me, you didn't partake in this week's Season of Giving, so you've managed to save some snow globes from this week to make it the impact next week not so bad on your gold. And the total 3 French hens milestone points available in this event is 31,300, a very weird number. I must say, those 300 points, don't know why they're there. There is also 10,000 Ice Queen's Gala milestone points. And to-do list for this is to spend snow globes in the snow globe store, but you're also going to want to do your alliance gifting. You're going to want at least 12 members to gift 1,000 gold and 12 members to gift 50 power cores, so that you're hitting that 4th box on a daily basis. And we'll go over that a little bit more on Monday in the proper event video. And that event leads into free French hens. And there are a lot of scoring elements this week in free French hens. You are going to be earning Path to Miss Marvel Classic Orb Fragments. These are coming from the Temporal dimension that we have coming. We're going to go over that in just a second. You're going to be earning Nest Egg Orb Fragments from spending campaign energy. If it wasn't clear already that there is a level cap coming based on the Datamines, based on what I've been telling you for the past few weeks, another campaign energy spending event tells you that this is close. We're also going to get points if you have them for using Ancient One in War at 5, 6, and 7 yellow stars. Emma Frost X-Men in War at 5, 6, and 7 yellow stars. And why I said Old Man Logan was so important is because Old Man Logan in War at 5, 6, and 7 yellow stars. This will be achievable this week for yourself if you manage to do well in the Old Man Logan trial. And those points will help greatly. I've got a reasonable free-to-play total down as 65,824. Now, this is including a daily free claim of 500 points. And your to-do list to get this is to spend 200 cores on campaign energy this week. So if you want to save some campaign energy over the weekend, that would be very, very advisable. And to collect your daily free claim. That is all that I've based those points on. You might be able to get more for doing the Path to Miss Marvel Classic Orb Fragments, but we don't know how many they are. You're going to have to check back on Monday and possibly even on Wednesday when the Frozen Dimension actually opens, so that we know how many Miss Marvel Classic Orb Fragments are on those nodes. So we'll now go over the Frozen Dimension, and this is exactly the same as the past few times that they have run this type of pocket dimension. So it is two-sided, one side with the Annihilator missions, one side with Absolute A-Force missions. You can also use cosmic characters on the Annihilator missions, which is exactly the same as they did last time they ran the Annihilator one, because they didn't have all the characters out in time. And tech characters can also be used for the Absolute A-Force missions. The choice is yours. You will need a minimum of 3 characters for each mission, excluding boss missions. And here are the individual mission requirements. So on the Annihilator side, you're going to have normal missions with Annihilators or cosmic characters at gear tier 14. Hard missions, Annihilator or cosmic characters at gear tier 15. Master missions, Annihilator or cosmic characters at gear tier 16 plus. Legendary missions, Annihilators or legendary characters at gear tier 17. And mythic missions, which is the Annihilators or mythic characters at gear tier 17. Then we go to the Absolute A-Force side. The normal missions are Absolute A-Force or tech characters at ISO 8 blue level 3. Don't know why they changed away from the gear tier here, but ISO 8 blue level 3. Normal boss mission is Absolute A-Force or tech characters at ISO 8 blue level 5. The hard missions are going to be Absolute A-Force or tech characters ISO 8 blue level 5 stroke ISO 8 purple level 1. Now I'm very lucky with this. I've completed both my runs of Dark Dimension 8. I have my Big Odin, so I'm a bit more free to use my ISO 8, my purple ISO 8 where I want to. And I've actually been hoarding it exactly for moments like this when, when they tell us these requirements not very far in advance, really. Hard boss mission, Absolute A-Force characters or tech characters with ISO 8 purple level 2. Master missions, Absolute A-Force or tech characters, ISO 8 purple level 2. Legendary mission, Absolute A-Force or legendary characters at ISO 8 level 3. Now that is going to be quite hard because at the moment, for me, I've only got one character at legendary character at ISO 8 purple level 3, and that is Old Man Logan. Mythic boss, Absolute A-Force or mythic characters at purple 3. That's not a problem. Mythic characters, we've got Odin, we've got Mephisto, we've got Apocalypse, we've got Super Skrull. So all of those characters, you know, some of those characters you should have at purple 3 anyway. Then you could add in Kahori. She would be a good fix for that. So that's perfect. And then the final boss is Absolute A-Force, Annihilators, or Tech characters at purple ISO 8 level 3. Now, the Annihilators, a lot of you should at least have, if you're into doing Dark Dimension 8, you should at least have Endgame Thanos, possibly Gore, and possibly most likely Gladiator as well for your arena. Let me know the state of your Annihilators and your purple ISO down below in the comments. And so here is the table for the Free French Hens event, and we can see that the milestone at 1465,000, that is where we get all the French hens and all the free-to-play snow globes. I think anything beyond that is a big push. There is a 1 diamond Miss Marvel Classic in this, but that is at milestone 18, 185,000 points. Now, there's a lot on that. There's 10 million gold. There's 20,000, T3 ISO 8 orb fragments. So that is 10 orbs there, plus the 1 diamond Miss Marvel Classic. There is no way you're getting to that without spending or trashing a ton of gold, a ton of energy even. So I think the best we're going to look for free to play is going to be that milestone 14 at 65,000. Now, before we go, I just want to go over the few Reddit posts this week that have caught my eye. So the first one that I thought was pretty good, and we're going to update this one, is a public service announcement. Don't overinvest in Wasp. Miss Marvel Classic needs a buff to how she gains charges outside of war. Basically, they had a 2 diamond Wasp and they took it to gear tier 19, which has now meant that the clause on Kahori's basic is now applying charges to Wasp rather than Miss Marvel Classic. So be aware of that. Now, I have looked at my own requirements on this, and if I want to use the whole team outside of war, I'm going to need to personally take my Wasp, which is 1 diamond, up to level 100 gear tier 18. And as long as I take my Miss Marvel Classic up to level 100 gear tier 19 with purple ISO 3, which I could do for the Temporal Dimension, if I get her unlocked, that is in time, it will work perfectly fine. But public service announcement, watch how big you build your Wasp, because that could completely muck up the whole synergy of the team where Miss Marvel Classic is concerned. This one caught my eye, and it had a lot more upvotes than this in a minute, but Boylon's videos pissed me off. Bit of a funny title, but I do believe that in it is pretty, what he says is pretty good. Every time he provides information about upcoming content that Scopely should be, I get pissed at Scopely. And that's right. It shouldn't be down to content creators to give you the information about the future of this game. It should be Scopely giving us these things. Patch notes which say, hey, we're going to do a pocket dimension and a tower, plus here are the new tunes and the reworks over the next month or so. More details to come. How hard is that? They did it for 5 years. Why can't Scopely tell us what's coming more than a week ahead of time? I'll tell you why. They have no faith in their ability to stick to a schedule. And even if they do, they have no faith in their ability to do it right. I'm not going to bother asking for a roadmap because I think DD8 and Odin were decided over a weekend. Not the character. I know that takes time. I'm talking about doing DD8 at all and making him the Dark Dimension tune. We used to get mad when they couldn't deliver what was promised, so now they just don't promise anything. They gave up, and now we have to depend on data miners and people leaking to Boylon because they can't possibly put out the information themselves. And that is pretty sad that it has gotten to that state where we're not really getting anything new, but it shouldn't be down to the data mines. You know, we found out more from the data mine dump from patch 8.5 than what we've done from Scopely for months. And I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about this. Let me know what you feel about this. Do you think they're just trying to sort of not promise anything because they don't want to not deliver it? And then this one from Winston Wolf, big member of the community, big player of the game, big and not big spender, but definitely in the category of players that you would think that Marvel Strike Force want to keep on board. Long-time gamer, first-time Reddit poster. I've been playing MSF since global launch. I've left and come back to the game a few times as there have been some ups and downs over the years, which you would expect from any game. You know, all games are going to have ups and downs. That is just how it is. The core gameplay is awesome, and so are the graphics. I would completely agree with that. The core gameplay, and this is why I get so passionate about this, is because the core gameplay of the game is really good, and I would hasten to say possibly one of the best out there. If there was some passion behind it, some real effort put in behind it, this game could be one of the best out there. I can guarantee it. All games get bugs, you know, that's far from it. He goes on to say, but I feel like the game is currently in a bad place, a very bad place. Now, I don't think it's the game as such that is in a bad place. Yes, things are bad in the game, but I don't think it's the game that is in the bad place. I think it's actually the developers and Scopely that are in the bad place at the moment. And he goes on to explain this. For me, it started when Scopely pivoted away from Professor X being the next Dark Dimension toon. That was the first signal of a lack of direction by Scopely. I was a bit concerned when there was no second half roadmap, but there weren't many other issues at the time, so I decided to give Scopely the benefit of the doubt and continue gaming and spending. Now, I'm not sure if I can say this, but I'm going to. I can tell you that I believe the Odin Dark Dimension was definitely an afterthought. It wasn't in the roadmap. It wasn't in the plans. Now, how do we know this? Firstly, really and truthfully, Odin does not feel like a Dark Dimension toon. And the Dark Dimension, you know, the availability to get into the Dark Dimension, even free-to-play players, really didn't feel like it was a proper Dark Dimension. And I can tell you that in my time as an envoy, we one of the calls we were in, we had someone say from Scopely, so what if we did 2 Dark Dimensions a year? Out of the blue. Just out of the blue came with that. What if we did 2 Dark Dimensions a year? Which now leads me to think that we are going to be getting 2 Dark Dimensions a year, one which is going to be based on level cap and gear tier, and one that will be based on Isotope 8 or some other progression system. Let's read on with this though. And I honestly didn't mind CB stroke Old Man Logan being paywalled. For those characters, we had clear information to make an informed decision if we wanted to spend or not. No adjustments were made to rewards or the paywall after or during the events to make me question if I should have spent. I knew what I was buying and I got what I paid for. And again, this is what I am talking about with the whole, you know, this is the problem with the Shadow King trial, is you have people that spend money on Captain Britain. They took a long time to bring that Shadow King trial to the game. Far too long, in my opinion, to bring that trial to the game. And people who invested in Captain Britain and invested in the stars, yes, they've had a benefit out of it from the, you know, from Cosmic Crucible, from using him in war at those high star levels. But have they really had a good enough shot at this with the legendary? Should we have been able to do it with that, you know? Why don't you let me know in the comments down below what you think about that? I knew what I was buying and I got what I paid for. The only thing I didn't like was the ambiguousness of the term vaulted. We didn't know if that meant 3, 6 or 12 months. I understand that that was intentional to feed into FOMO. The problem is, as you have heard many, many times on my videos, FOMO seems to be the only sales tactic that Scopely has in their arsenal. You know, if they made a game that was enjoyable and everyone was having fun playing it and everyone was informed about what was going on in the game, I could almost guarantee that their sales would probably be tenfold what they are now due to FOMO. But within the past month or so, things have really snowballed. The new Emma's passive was bugged upon release, such that when on defense, she does not prevent enemies from gaining speed stat. Updog recorded and shared a video of the bug on November the 19th, and the bug is still not fixed 3 weeks later. And I could probably say that's probably because they don't know quite how to fix it. Battle World was a complete flop. It introduced low quality screen time and was also bugged. Scopely provided us with 1 week between seasons as they attempted to fix the bug. A week later, the bug was still not fixed and the entire mode was taken down. The mode was in development for over a year. Taking down the mode shortly after it was launched is rather embarrassing. And yes, that is true. And again, I think this is another step into going back to the previous Reddit post about Boylon's videos piss me off. They don't want accountability, because accountability means that they've got some form of timescale on them. Like, they have to bring Xavier to the game now because they've told us he is coming. If they didn't tell us he was coming, they wouldn't have to abide by that at all. And this is what it is. I think we are getting the information so late because they're making decisions so late on. Surely they know what is going on more time ahead than what they are telling us. Just from a point of view of, you know, localization, which I know Mobile Gamer has said about before, where they've got to send stuff away to get it translated into different languages that the game is played in. You know, so all these things are there. So they have it available. They just don't want to give us the information because they don't want to commit to anything at the moment. Yes, taking Battle World down made sense, but it devalued the Astral team. Yes, it did. Who were specifically designed for Battle World. Yes, they were. Sure, Astral can be used elsewhere, but purchases were made with the belief that they would be required for a mode that is currently not in the game, and no subsequent buffs or action was taken by Scopely. Now, that's true. The only thing they've done is given away Emma and Ancient One and Strange and Moondragon's passives. But as I said earlier on in the video, my Astral team today, I was punching across into Night Stalkers. And yes, it is the season of Night Stalkers at the moment in war. I was punching across into a defending Night Stalkers and my Astral team could not beat them. They got absolutely ram-raided. Scopely handed out 3 diamonds for the new Emma to everyone to make up for the integrity of the leaderboard being compromised due to the bug in Battle World. This felt bad for those who spent time planning and competing. Sure, top alliances were given some additional awards, but that was only after the backlash from the poor decision to hand out participation trophies to the entire community. Agreed again. I know they had to do it for the integrity, but the integrity should be there. If you have a leaderboard in any sort of event or any sort of game, there should be an integrity there. Let's not mention the problem with the leaderboard that they have. To my knowledge, this problem is still not fixed. If we have an event like a leaderboard event that says, do a war battle, or do a war battle with this person, the leaderboard still hasn't been fixed to the point where if you do your war battle first, because of how the leaderboard works, you can do your war battle first and you'll go to the top of the top part of your points bracket in the leaderboard. However, if you will then subsequently later do a war attack with that character, that will bump you all the way down to the bottom of the leaderboard. that shouldn't be the case. If it's not actually scoring you any more points, which sometimes it doesn't, sometimes you only get that 1 point score. You know, for example, this week, Battle in War with Ancient One at 5 stars. Going to earn you 3,000 points. But if you do that again later on in the week and use her, that will drop you down the leaderboard in the event. And you can test that out yourself later on this week. But that is bugged. The leaderboard has no integrity and they need to get this worked out, especially if they want this to be a competitive game, which they do seem to want to, because that competitiveness drives people to spend. Battle World was introduced without the foresight of creating a save squad tab. Yeah, funny enough, they introduced that with patch 8.5. The feedback was shared with Scopely, and to their credit, they took action and added a save squad tab for Battle World, but they didn't even code it correctly. It's either incompetence or laziness, both are unacceptable, and also the game mode is now gone, so it's a bit late to have added the save squad tab. No, this has been fixed. So the coding's been fixed on it, but they added this after the game mode was taken down. Now, you would have thought that a new save squad tab for a new game mode would have been something that would have been implemented when the game mode was released. With every new patch comes new bugs, stroke issues. The health stroke status bars are off-centered. How was this not discovered before pushing out the patch? It's either incompetence or laziness. Again, both are unacceptable. I was excited when Scopely updated the Alliance donations by removing the turkeys and replacing them with snow globes, but they oddly left the pumpkins containing the rewards. It would make more sense to also replace the pumpkins with snowflakes or something else winter themed. Once again, this is either incompetence or laziness. I've got a feeling that I don't know if it's laziness. I don't know if it's incompetence. I think it might be down to the fact that the team they've got there are, I don't want to say this for honesty, but I feel like almost the team they are running on is a skeleton staff. They have minimal staff, and the other issue that they have with this working on the game is the fact that they are all remote. So it's not like you can go to someone and say, oh, what about this, etc. It's all remote. It's all done in their own time. So I think that is part of the issue here. Scopely proposed changes to war to reduce the number of rooms from 10 to 8. These changes were reverted immediately due to the backlash from the community, which erodes my faith/trust that Scopely has any clue what they're doing. Again, very, very true. They make knee-jerk reactions to everything, it seems. The Shadow King trial was poorly designed. The trial was lacking difficulty such that 6,003 players were able to clear all nodes on the max difficulty with all packs turned on. That seemed like way too many. Yep, and that was down to partially because they allowed the trial to take too long to come out. So spenders basically didn't have the advantage that they would have paid for, which was the extra stars and the extra power on their characters. The initial response by Scopely was to introduce new packs and adjust the scoring in the middle of the event. That's the worst thing they could have done. After many players spent countless hours competing in the event, these changes were blasted by the community, quite rightly so, because they don't really care about our time. And they, again, I can quite happily say this, I don't think they cared about our time as envoys even. So that's my personal opinion. These changes were blasted by the community and Scopely reverted the potential changes. But I'm glad these changes were not made to the event. Even suggesting such changes in the middle of the event again demonstrates a lack of understanding and concern for people's time and money. Correct. Most recently, adjusting the rewards for players ranked 501 to 6003 so they receive 7 yellow stars for Shadow King undermines the time and money people spent competing for 7 yellow stars. Completely agree. As I stated above, the event was poorly designed, but all players participated in the same event with the same lack of difficulty, same scoring, and same expected rewards. People chose to either spend the time to do additional runs and spend resources / money for a better score, or not based on the expected rewards. Now, personally, when I did my run, I only did 2 runs of the Shadow King trial. I didn't want to do any more than that. I did a run which I uploaded, which you all saw, and I did a second run with all packs attached, and that was it for me. I knew my roster wasn't going to be capable of pushing for those high-end scores, so I was quite happy where I was. And as long as I landed in the top 5,000 and I got my 6-star Shadow King, I would have been absolutely fine. So to have a 7-star Shadow King is quite nice and quite a surprise for me. Adjusting the rewards so dramatically for some players and all players further demonstrates a lack of understanding and concern for the time and money spent by those that finished in the top 500. Even if Scopely decides to improve the rewards in the Shadow King trial for the top 500 to include more Astral Force, or even adds diamonds for Shadow King, the damage has already been done. Scopely continues to slap players in the face and then try to make up for it with additional rewards. This really feels like an abusive relationship, and I'd much rather forego additional rewards to simply not be slapped in the face in the first place. These are just the issues that come to mind. There are other issues. It's been a rough month, to say the least. I truly hope Scopely turns things around, but I'm losing faith with all these recent issues, and I'm concerned about the future of the game. Very concerned. What do you think? Do you share a similar sentiment, or am I off base? Well, let me know down in the comments below, guys, what you think about this. Edit, I almost forgot about fiasco with the Red Stars Diamond for Scroll. This was supposed to be a feel-good moment for players, but Scopely failed to consider those players that saved for months to be able to promote Scroll. And as a result, we lost a great content creator and even better human being in Benny Westside. It wasn't until after the backlash from the community that Scopely decided to take action. But again, the damage was already done. I do want to say one thing, and this is that Scopely have at their disposal, shall we say, a number of avenues that they could have pushed these ideas out to and got some feedback on them. And I know then that would make the game sort of not Scopely's, it wouldn't make it theirs. But as with anyone that makes content of any sort of thing, and I think I want to say this, and please don't take the mickey out of me here, but I think Ed Sheeran said it the best about his songs. When he's writing the songs, they're his songs. As soon as he releases them, they're no longer his songs. They are the public's songs. They are your songs, my songs, Grandpa's songs, whoever's songs. And it's very much the same with anything that you develop or make or anything like that. Marvel Strike Force is now a game that is out in the wild, and it's no longer Scopely's game, shall we say. It is a game played by thousands and thousands of players, all who have expectations for the game and all who could give them feedback. They have envoys who are completely engaged gamers that want the best for this game, because why wouldn't they? The content they create for this game, same with myself. The content that I create for this game, the content that the envoys create for this game, if the game's in a good place, the content's in a good place, and that makes things great. If the content's in a bad place, or if the game's in a bad place, the content tends to be in a bad place as well. And we've seen this most recently by the lack of uploads for Marvel Strike Force videos on YouTube. Again, let me know down in the comments below what you think. And so now just some time for some final thoughts. Thank you everyone who has stayed for the video. I know it was a bit of a long one this week. The events seem pretty simple. Basically, if you want to save some campaign energy over the weekend, that would be slightly advisable. Don't forget, if you have found the content in this video helpful, please do consider giving it a like or sharing it with some of your alliance mates. And without further ado, until next time, everyone, stay positive.